being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Basketball legend Cheryl Miller just dropped a nuclear bomb on Team USA that nobody saw coming. 3 minutes ago, Miller completely torched the Olympic Selection Committee and exposed the real dirty reasons why they refused to put Caitlin Clark on their roster. This is not about basketball skills or team chemistry. This is about something way uglier. Miller went scorched earth during her latest interview, and what she revealed about Team USA will make your blood boil. The woman who coached Clark directly at the All-Star game finally spilled the tea about what really goes down in those Team USA meeting rooms.
They will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of
hard,
right?
And I used, and Jax, you're absolutely right.
Spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with Clark not being good enough. But here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous. Miller basically called out Team USA for playing petty high school games instead of picking the best players. She said the committee is more worried about protecting egos than winning gold medals. Can you believe that? The Olympics are supposed to be about representing your country with the absolute best talent available. Clark averaged 19.2 points and led the entire WNBA in assists during her rookie season. She single-handedly brought millions of new fans to women's basketball. TV ratings went through the roof whenever she played. Ticket sales exploded across the league.
For the year, two-time national championship, two-time tournament MVP, first woman to dunk in an organized game, gold medalist. Thank you for making time. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Miller.
Every single player in the WNBA is making more money because of what Clark brought to the table. Yet somehow Team USA decided she was not good enough. Miller is calling complete nonsense on that excuse. The Hall of Fame legend, who has seen everything in women's basketball, says there are forces working against Clark that have absolutely nothing to do with her game. Not only that, Miller revealed that certain veteran players have been whispering poison in the ears of Team USA coaches. These players apparently feel threatened by Clark's popularity and success. Instead of embracing the rising star who could help them win gold, they are actively sabotaging her chances.
About how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a...
Miller coached Clark directly and saw her work ethic up close. She watched how Clark interacted with teammates and opponents. The woman who has coached some of the greatest players in basketball history says Clark has exactly what Team USA needs to dominate on the international stage. The most infuriating part? Miller says Team USA is basically cutting off their nose to spite their face. They are willing to hurt their own chances of winning just to keep Clark off the team. That is not team building. That is pure spite wrapped up in Olympic jerseys.
Now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team.
Clark proved every single doubter wrong during her rookie year. She silenced critics who said she could not handle the physicality of professional basketball. She adapted her game and became one of the league's most complete players almost overnight. Let's dive deeper into this mess, because what Miller revealed next will absolutely blow your mind. The Team USA selection process is supposedly based on merit and team chemistry, but Miller just exposed it as nothing more than a popularity contest run by bitter veterans who cannot stand seeing someone younger succeed. Miller spilled that certain unnamed players have been conducting a whisper campaign against Clark since before she even entered the WNBA.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record.
These veterans were already plotting to keep her off Team USA while she was still breaking records at Iowa. Talk about premeditated sabotage of the highest level. The most disgusting part? Miller says these same players are the ones who complain loudest about not getting enough attention or respect for women's basketball. Yet when someone like Clark brings unprecedented eyeballs to their sport, they want to destroy her instead of embracing the opportunity. But wait, it gets even more twisted. Miller revealed that some Team USA coaches are actually scared of Clark's impact. Not scared of her basketball abilities, but scared of the media circus that follows her everywhere. They would rather play it safe with boring lineups than deal with the attention that comes with having the most popular player in women's basketball. Clark brings camera crews, reporters, and millions of viewers wherever she goes.
Wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points.
That should be exactly what Team USA wants for promoting women's basketball on the biggest stage possible. Instead, they treat it like some kind of disease they need to avoid. Miller called this thinking completely backwards and frankly stupid. She pointed out that Michael Jordan brought massive attention to Team USA in the 1990s, and nobody complained about that circus. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were huge media draws, and Team USA embraced that spotlight. Here's the kicker though. Miller says some of these veteran players actually admitted they feel overshadowed by Clark's popularity. They worked their entire careers to build women's basketball, and now this rookie comes in and gets more attention in one season than they got in 10 years combined. Instead of recognizing that Clark's success lifts everyone in the sport, they see her as competition for their own legacy. Miller says this mentality is poisonous and completely destroys team chemistry before they even step on the court. The Hall of Fame legend also exposed how certain coaches are more worried about managing personalities than winning games. They spend more time trying to keep veteran players happy than putting together the best possible roster for international competition. Miller witnessed this dysfunction firsthand when she coached the All-Star game. She saw how some players treated Clark differently, not because of her performance, but because of jealousy over her fame and endorsement deals.
I called her as a friend and I said, you know, you can say whatever you want, you can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you know, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. You know, it's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone and I was like, Cheryl, you know, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship, it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Cheryl.
Not to mention the absolute hypocrisy of Team USA preaching about unity and representing the country while actively excluding their most popular and talented young player. Miller says this sends a terrible message about American basketball values. Now here's where Miller really went nuclear on the Team USA coaching staff and completely demolished their pathetic excuses for keeping Clark off the roster. Miller has been around basketball for decades and she knows BS when she sees it, and boy did she see a mountain of it coming from Team USA headquarters. Miller called out the coaches for straight up lying about their selection criteria. They claim they picked players based on experience and international play, but Miller pointed out they have zero problem selecting rookies when it suits their agenda. The hypocrisy is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The coaching staff keeps saying they need players who understand international rules and physical play. Miller laughed at this excuse because Clark spent her entire college career getting absolutely hammered by defenders who were trying to stop her record-breaking performances. If anyone understands physical basketball, it's the player who got fouled more than anyone else in college history. But let's talk about the elephant in the room that Miller exposed with surgical precision. The same coaches who claim Clark lacks international experience have no problem selecting players who have never even played in a FIBA tournament.
I mean, look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So with that being said, You big dummies, you getting paid.
The selection process is so inconsistent, it makes absolutely no sense to anyone with half a brain. Miller revealed that some Team USA coaches are actually intimidated by Clark's basketball IQ and court vision. They worry that putting her on the team would expose how outdated their offensive systems really are. Clark sees the game 3 steps ahead of everyone else, and some coaches cannot handle that level of basketball intelligence. The Hall of Fame legend also torched the idea that Clark would not fit into Team USA's defensive schemes. Miller coached Clark directly and watched her guard multiple positions effectively. She saw Clark communicate on defense and make smart rotations that helped her teammates succeed. What makes this even more ridiculous is that Miller exposed how Team USA coaches are basically admitting they cannot coach talented players. If you cannot figure out how to use the WNBA's leading assist maker and one of its top scorers, maybe the problem is not with the player. Miller said the coaching staff is stuck in old school thinking where they want players who follow orders blindly instead of creative players who can improvise and make game-changing plays. Clark's ability to create something out of nothing apparently scares coaches who prefer predictable, boring basketball. The veteran coach also revealed that some Team USA staff members are worried about Clark's confidence and swagger on the court. They think her celebrations and emotional reactions would somehow hurt team chemistry. Miller called this thinking absolutely insane because confidence is exactly what you want in international competition. Here's the most damaging revelation Miller dropped about the coaching situation. She said some coaches are more concerned with politics and keeping veteran players happy than actually putting together the best team possible. They care more about hurt feelings than gold medals. Miller witnessed this dysfunction during All-Star Weekend when she saw how certain coaches treated different players. The favoritism was obvious and completely unprofessional, according to someone who has coached at the highest levels of basketball. But the damage goes way deeper than just hurting Clark's feelings or missing out on Olympic glory. Miller exposed how Team USA's petty decision is actually destroying opportunities for the entire women's basketball community and setting back the sport by years. Miller broke down the cold hard numbers that Team USA is completely ignoring. Clark's presence alone brought over 18 million viewers to WNBA games during her rookie season. That's more eyeballs than some NBA playoff games managed to attract. Yet somehow Team USA thinks they can afford to leave this ratings magnet at home during the Olympics. The international stage would have been the perfect opportunity to showcase American women's basketball to a global audience. Miller pointed out that billions of people watch Olympic basketball, and having Clark on that team would have introduced women's basketball to markets that barely know it exists. Now here's the truly infuriating part that Miller revealed about the financial impact. Every single player in the WNBA saw their salary increases partly because of the revenue Clark generated. The league signed better TV deals, sponsorship agreements improved, and ticket sales went through the roof. Team USA is basically spitting in the face of progress. Miller said the Olympic snub sends a terrible message to young girls who look up to Clark as a role model. These kids see that hard work, record-breaking performances, and bringing new fans to the sport apparently means nothing to the basketball establishment. What kind of lesson does that teach the next generation? The Hall of Fame legend also exposed how this decision hurts American basketball's reputation internationally. Other countries are laughing at Team USA for leaving their most popular player at home, while they struggle to fill arenas and generate interest in women's basketball worldwide. Let's be crystal clear about something Miller emphasized during her explosive interview. Clark's impact on women's basketball cannot be measured just by statistics or awards. She fundamentally changed how people view the women's game and proved that female athletes can be just as exciting and marketable as their male counterparts. Miller revealed that international coaches and players have been asking her about Clark's absence from Team USA. They cannot understand why America would bench their most dynamic and popular player. This makes Team USA look petty and unprofessional on the world stage. The veteran coach also pointed out that Clark's exclusion creates a dangerous precedent for future stars. If you can lead the league in assists, break rookie records, and bring unprecedented attention to women's basketball, but still get snubbed by Team USA, what hope do other young players have? But here's what really gets Miller fired up about this whole situation. She says Team USA is wasting a once-in-a-generation opportunity opportunity to grow women's basketball globally. Clark's popularity transcends traditional basketball fans and reaches into mainstream culture in ways the sport has never seen before. Miller witnessed firsthand how Clark's presence changes the entire atmosphere around women's basketball. Media coverage increases, social media engagement explodes, and casual fans actually start caring about the women's game. Team USA is throwing all of that away because some veterans have hurt feelings. The final bombshell Miller dropped will make you question everything you thought you knew about Team USA selections. She revealed there is actually an organized effort by certain veteran players to control who gets selected for major tournaments, and Clark represents everything they want to keep out. Miller exposed that a small group of influential veterans have been meeting behind closed doors to discuss how to handle the Clark situation. These players apparently see her as a threat to their own legacy and influence within women's basketball. They would rather maintain their stranglehold on power than embrace the future of the sport. The most shocking part, Miller says some of these veterans have been actively lobbying coaches and Team USA officials to exclude Clark from consideration. They are not just staying silent about the snub, they are actually orchestrating it from behind the scenes like some kind of basketball mafia. What makes this conspiracy even more disgusting is that Miller revealed these same veterans publicly praised Clark in interviews while privately working to sabotage her opportunities. The two-faced nature of their behavior shows just how deep this jealousy and resentment really runs. Miller called out the hypocrisy of veterans who spent years complaining about lack of respect for women's basketball. Yet when someone finally brings that respect and attention, they try to tear her down. These players are literally destroying the thing they claim they want to protect. The Hall of Fame legend also exposed how some veterans use their relationships with coaches and Team USA staff to influence decisions. They have built networks over years of playing that give them insider access and political power that rookies like Clark simply cannot match. But here's the most revealing thing Miller discovered during her time around Team USA circles. Some veterans are genuinely terrified that Clark's success will make their own careers look mediocre by comparison. They spent decades toiling in obscurity, and now Clark achieves more recognition in one season than they got in their entire careers. Miller said this mentality is completely backwards and self-destructive. Instead of celebrating someone who validates everything they worked for, these veterans choose to resent Clark's success. They cannot see past their own wounded egos to recognize what her popularity means for women's basketball. The veteran coach also revealed that some Team USA officials are caught in the middle of this political warfare. They know Clark deserves to be on the team based on talent and impact, but they also have to manage relationships with established veterans who have influence within the organization. Not to mention the absolutely pathetic fact that Miller exposed about veteran players actually celebrating Clark's Olympic snub in private group chats. These grown women are acting like high school mean girls instead of professional athletes who should want the best possible team representing their country. Miller says this toxic culture within Team USA extends beyond just the Clark situation. She believes other talented young players have been overlooked because they do not fit into the established veteran power structure. The sport is eating its own future to protect past glories. Here's the bottom line that Miller wants everyone to understand. Team USA's decision to exclude Clark has nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with politics, jealousy, and protecting the status quo. The people running women's basketball are more interested in maintaining their control than winning gold medals or growing the sport. If you are enjoying this content and want to see more exposés about what really goes on behind the scenes in women's basketball, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments what other stories you want us to investigate.